The Earth Gnome tells a story. The new children have a mission to remember. They need to be given space to grow their consciousness so they can connect to the other realms. They do not believe in the old fear-based story of heaven and hell. They're coming to learn about the elemental realm, as this consciousness is responsible for creation in form. And it's their mission to understand how to balance and work with the elemental forces through the love in their heart and use them to create their reality from this perspective of joy. Monkey waited until Theo had gone to sleep. It took quite a while as he was playing with his cars and other toys, but soon he got very sleepy. As he floated off to the dreamy place, they returned to Middle-earth, and their friends were waiting for them. "Let me tell you about the day I stopped being grumpy," chuckled the little gnome. "Oh yes," laughed the sylph, "it was very funny." As the fairy queen held up the crystal ball, they watched and she explained. The elementals were affected by the thoughts and emotions of the humans. Now it is time for the humans to remember so we can all work together. As they watched, a story began to unfold. Little Mole was busy building a new tunnel when he came up out of the earth to have a rest. He sat back for a while looking up at the big moon that was shining very brightly that night. He could feel the breeze. "I wonder where that breeze is coming from," he said to the moon. Then he felt the rain gently begin to fall from the sky. "I wonder how that happens." He couldn't see the sylph or the undine. "I better get back to work," said the mole, and he disappeared back down into his tunnel. "We've been making a breeze to blow the earth back down the hole," said the sylph. "Oh, sorry," said the undine. "We're trying to wash it away." When the little gnome got up in the morning, he was very grumpy when he saw a big muddy puddle at the bottom of the garden, and he went to inspect it. His tummy began to grumble too because he was hungry. As he sat by the window eating his breakfast, he began to get grumpier. "I'm fed up of trying to keep this earth tidy. Nobody helps me. I have to do it all on myself." Suddenly, he jumped up and he marched down the garden and he pointed his magic finger at the muddy puddle and he said, "Go back to where you belong." The sylph appeared and formed a circle, and as they flapped their wings, the muddy puddle began to float up into the sky. The gnome watched as he began to remember the magic in his finger. As they played, the sylph swirled and the puddle went round and around. They could see the undines mixed up in the earth and they could hear them squealing. They were all having fun. The gnome was about to go back into his house when all of a sudden the muddy puddle landed on his head with a loud splat. The mole wondered what the noise was about and he popped his head up to see. He laughed when he saw the little gnome. The gnome marched back to his house feeling very angry. But as he looked up, he saw his reflection in the mirror, and all of a sudden he began to laugh. As he tried to remember the last time that happened, he began to feel rather dizzy, and his grumpy face fell away. As he looked down, he saw a little lizard appear and it ran out of the house. When he came back into the garden, he saw the sylph and the undine. "I remember you," he said. "We are friends." He felt so happy because he was not alone anymore. The fire salamander was happy too, now he wasn't stuck to his face. "It's time to go back," said Monkey. "No, I want to know more," said Theo. "You will," said the Queen. "There's much more for you to learn." As Theo returned to his bed, He felt very happy. Monkey found himself floating about the bedroom. 2 little wings had appeared on his back. This is not as easy as it looks, he thought, as he began to knock a few of the toys over. The next morning, Theo woke very early, and he began to throw some of his cars and his toys up into the air. But he noticed that they fell back down very quickly. Mummy heard all the noise and came to see what was going on. Monkey sat very still up on the shelf. "Who made all this mess?" she asked. "Monkey did it," said Theo. As he pointed his finger, Monkey fell down off the shelf and he landed on Mummy's head. "Cheeky monkey," she laughed as she took them both back into bed.